So next time when you come, your grade, okay? Good. You will memorize that. Maybe 5 copy left. Okay, Tolani?
Yes.
Please take this and check. Do you have the sign-up sheet? But keep it with you and check who come, who didn't come. Some of them have university skills. Is this quiz easy enough? Or first 5 minutes, or first 2 minutes, I should tell you the answer. Or no, I tell you the answer the week before, and then test you later on. Yesterday I talked about net positive suction head required. Did I? Or 2 days ago, on Tuesday. Did I not? I think I did. Okay, pump. Oh, this one. Are we done with? Oh, we are not done with pump yet. There's a little bit more. Take a look on pump. We have this equation, right? I made a homework for you. It will be posted before 5 p.m. Okay. I checked this equation. The equation over here is correct. Okay. Beta, this beta is to the power of -1 or 1 over beta. Okay. And this beta to power of -2 or 1 over beta square. So the equation is correct. Alright. Okay. For this, H is the net height difference, right? The net height difference. Okay. In the homework, you have something like this. Go to the tap, go to the pump, go back, and go down to the tank again. Okay. What's your name behind? Taylor Davis. What is delta H for the case where we have a closed loop like this? In the homework, we have the pump, we go up, and then we go down to the same water level. What is the difference in height? 0? Okay, the difference in height is 0. Correct, for the case of steady state, not restart. Okay. If we say the difference in height is 0, then it doesn't matter how far we go up, right? The difference in height is still 0. Correct, but that is for steady state. Steady state means the phenomena doesn't change with time. But during the restart, let's say the pipe is empty. So we need enough head to lift it up, right? We need horsepower that enough to lift it up. Of course, when it go down, we can pressure. But what if initially it is empty? So we need enough power to lift it up. Okay? You will do this in the homework. Good. So the horsepower, you may need to know, what if we flow almost all the way? Just start at the top left corner. What is the required horsepower? Okay, so that is all the height. Okay, you good? So U0 is not fine for this case, because if you use 0, of course the pump can do in a steady state, but when you turn it on, it pumps, but it may not have enough power to lift the liquid up. Okay, but if you lift it up already, it can recirculate. Make sense? But if we start it dry, it cannot lift up. So we need enough horsepower to lift it up too. Okay. In this slide, there are some keywords that I want you to know. Okay. Number 1, steady state. Okay. Number 2, fully developed. Okay. Steady state means partial derivative with respect to t of pressure or velocity equal to 0. There's no change with respect to time. That is steady state. Okay? No change with time. Okay? When we say fully developed, you see this velocity profile. Fully developed means d by dz. Z is the coordinate of the flowing direction of velocity, radial velocity equal to 0. Okay? Radial velocity, if you see it, I put the center line, okay? Velocity is maximum at the center line and then it go down and reach 0. This is laminar flow, right? For turbulent flow, is more flat, like this. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry, it's up a little bit and then go down like that. So my point is, the velocity change with radial distance from the center line, but it doesn't change with axial distance. So partial derivative with respect to z, or axial distance equal to 0, this means velocity profile doesn't change with the length of the pipe anymore. In that case, it is what? Taylor Davis? Fully developed or steady state? When we have velocity profile doesn't change anymore with length. Is that steady state or we call it fully developed? Fully developed flow. So when they say fully developed flow, this means the distance is long enough from the entrance, okay, and it doesn't change anymore. All right, that is fully developed. Steady state means it doesn't change anymore with time. Okay. So can we have the case where it's not fully developed but steady state? Yes, we do. If we look close to the inlet and we move along the flow direction, there's a change of velocity profile. But if we just look at one location without moving to anywhere, velocity profile doesn't change, right? So that is steady state. Partial derivative with respect to time is 0, but doesn't mean that partial derivative with respect to distance is 0. Okay, it doesn't need to be. Good? Alright. Friction factor, everything we covered that. Pump in parallel, pump in series. Oh, okay. Not for this homework, but I get the announcement from Mr. Bullard. Have you seen it? About the vapor recovery unit, the amount of gas that comes from vapor recovery unit. Okay. For this homework, if you don't use that, it's okay. But in the final report, use that number. So basically, he tells how much should be the gas coming out if we just produce condensate, if we just produce purely oil, how much gas coming out. He get that information from operator. Okay, so it's more accurate than just my guess. Okay, put two pumps together. That's the way to put it. The top line is, so next to Taylor Davis. What's the name? Harmony. Put two pumps in series. Which line do we got? We increase flow rate or pressure? Pressure. Okay. Put two pumps in parallel. We increase what? Flow rate or pressure? Flow rate. Okay, very good. So if we put two pumps in parallel, okay, we can have more flow rate. So the pump curve telling us that it will be more flow rate. Okay, at the same of restriction. So the vertical axis is a head of the restriction. Advantage, disadvantage, we talk about it briefly. Okay, centrifugal is less efficient compared to PD pump. Okay, inexpensive or something. Just focus on this green thing and you should be able to tell at least like 2 or 3. Okay, so what's it? Tell me 3 advantages of centrifugal pump. You may say no pulsating flow. You may say can operate at low suction head. You may say it can handle some solid. If you have 3, maybe it's good enough. Okay, maybe. Or if you can have all, it will be very good, but maybe 3 is good enough. PD pump will have pulse, okay, because we push back and forth. If it's reciprocating motion, of course, we will have some pulse. Disadvantage, doesn't work with high viscosity fluid. It has self-heating, okay, and less pressure, deliver less pressure compared to PD. I think we are done with this, right? So you should be ready for any of the unit conversion and okay, to make it very fair. You see this one? How likely it is that you can do this in the exam, if any? Very likely. Not likely? Okay. On the exam day, hopefully it is very likely that you can tell me what is that number, 6.7 something, okay? Alright. Another lecture on pump. We have seen the video, okay? PD type of pump. We have reciprocating pump. Reciprocating pump is have a piston. Rotary pump. Rotary pump like gear, lobe, vane or screw. Even though there's the pump like there are rotation motion, it is PD type. Okay, it is PD type. Centrifugal pump, we have the blade and it keeps spinning, but we can have overhang pump, between bearing pump, vertically suspended pump. There's several kinds of pump. Okay, and this is kind of summary. Let's take a look at the picture. Centrifugal pump, it can be like that, okay, or sometimes it just look like that, just for you to see the picture, not to memorize which type is what, okay. So typically it look like that, right? That's centrifugal pump. But my point is, it can be that. You see, when they put it in, or it can be that. When you see something like this, is centrifugal pump. Centrifugal pump doesn't need to be just on horizontal, doesn't need to be just lay horizontally. Okay, you can put vertically too. That's my point. Okay, and it can have some other type between bearing or something. Put something in the middle. It can be like this. Okay, the blade is kind of at the center. Okay, and one more thing that I want you to see is, you see the blade inside. Okay, that's the blade inside and how it spins. One thing that you need to make sure that you get from this lecture is the word radially split and axially split. What is radially split? Radially split means the bolt, they put it on this part radially, okay, same distance from the center, okay. So it is symmetric, you see. Axially split means the bolt is not in a circle shape. Okay, if you look at the bolt, it's not circle shape. You see, the bolt is kind of a little bit angle over here, and it's not symmetric. It is not symmetric. So when I remove the bolt, remove this part, lift it up, I can see that it's split axially. Okay, it's not quite symmetric. Radially split means I take the bolt from the side. Okay, there are two main difference. Axially split, pump casing is split axially into the upper half and lower half. Okay. It's always a horizontal pump. Advantage, pump internal can be inspected by simply removing the top case. No need to remove rotor. Relatively inexpensive for 3 stages or more. Okay, when we put it in many stages, it's not that expensive. Disadvantages, non-uniform thermal expansion. I need you to be able to tell at least one disadvantages. Okay, and it's very straightforward. Why do I say that? Non-uniform thermal expansion, of course, because it's not symmetric, right? It is not symmetric. So when we heat it up, we have some thermal expansion. When we heat it up, it's not going to expand uniformly because it's not symmetric. Okay, look at this thing. But for axially or radially split, it has more uniform expansion. Okay, so we have the temperature limit of 400 Fahrenheit. Okay, non-symmetrical shape, irregular casing gasket. So we have limit the pressure. We have the pressure limit too. So basically, axially split pump will have more limitation on temperature and pressure. Radially split casing is perpendicular to the shaft center line, higher temperature and pressure than axially split. Very expensive for 3 or more stages. Okay, need double bearing construction or something. So if we need more stage and we want it cheap, maybe we need axially split. What you will see on the lag unit, it's just like that. Okay, it's just centrifugal pump like that. When we start the centrifugal pump, we close the discharge valve first. Pump against dead end. Okay, and then when it operates normally, then we open it up. That is centrifugal pump. It's preferred to pump against the dead end. PD pump, do not pump against the dead end. It will blow the pipe. It will destroy anything. Okay. Vertically suspended. So this thing is what? Centrifugal or PD? Next. No, really? What was your name? Alina? Is this PD or centrifugal? Vertically suspended. See, just this may not. Yes, it is centrifugal. So look at this one. Each part of this is the blade, right? So we put it in series. So this centrifugal type, or the blade is at the bottom or something. So vertically suspended is centrifugal. And we have some API standard and ANSI standard centrifugal pump. Okay. It looks like this. So API, ANSI pump, just different. And there are some detail. I don't focus on that. Just for you to see the picture. Vertical inline pump. Okay. So we have this one. Is this centrifugal or PD? Next, Emily. Centrifugal or PD for this type? Vertical inline pump. Centrifugal. We have the blade, right? And it is spinning. So API multi-stage split case pump. So this is multi-stage. So we have several blades. So this is to increase pressure, right? And this is centrifugal type. Okay, this one. Next, what's your name? Ryan? Is this axially split or radially split? Radially split. You can tell from here, right? I wrote it over there. And you can tell from the picture too. The bowl is located radially. Sump pump, centrifugal. We have turbine, submersible pump, centrifugal. Okay. Installation. Put two in series, increase pressure. Put two in parallel, increase the flow rate. Okay. Pump has nearly vertical line in head and flow rate graph for PD. PD look like this, right? Vertical line. Installation. Okay, when we put pump together, each pump has isolation valve so that one pump can run while the other is in service. So if we put two pumps in parallel, even though we put it in parallel to increase the flow rate, We don't share the valve. Okay, so each pump has its own valve. So this means I have two pumps. I have valve, valve, and pump in the middle. So this means if one of them is broken, I close the valve in the discharge side, in the suction side, put the tray on the bottom of it, take it out, so oil spill on the tray, and then I can fix it and put it back, right? During the time that I fix it, I can still have some operation, but less flow rate, alright? So we don't share the valve, so that we can close the valve on the front and back of the one that need to get some service. Okay. Suction line and isolation valve should be rated for the discharge pressure, of course. We need to look at the discharge pressure of the pump, and the pipe should be able to withstand that. Check valve is installed at the discharge side of each pump. Check valve means flow in one direction. So it is like a lid, okay, a lid. So when we have a flow, the lid closed. Okay. When we flow in one direction, the lid open and we can flow. When we try to flow back, it cannot. Okay. That's the check valve. It looks like a door. Actually, it looks like a door, and on the female side, there's an edge. Okay. So this means we can open it just one side, but not the other side. Okay, it's like a door that you can open just one side, not the other way around. Let's take a look on. Okay, this one talk about the high pressure switch, low pressure switch. What do we do if there's a leak? I think we can skip it a little bit. Okay, I don't emphasize much on that. But what I want to emphasize is for PD. What do we do when we put two PD pumps together? Because most of the time, if you put two centrifugal pumps together, it's not much of a problem. Okay, it just works. Just that. Okay, it's relatively difficult to break it, but not PD. PD is easier to break it, and we have to be more careful with PD. Okay. Reciprocating pump. The advantage is very high efficiency because we push directly. Okay, that's the main point, and give the same flow rate regardless of the head. So regardless of how much the pressure push against the pump, it delivers the same flow rate. Okay, it doesn't deliver more or less, or a little bit more or less. So it's not sensitive to viscosity. When viscosity go up, PD deliver almost the same. Okay. Read this one. High maintenance cost, susceptible for solid, need higher NPSHR. Okay. It have pulsating flow, requires special attention to remove the pulse. Gear pump. Fluid come on the suction side, traveling around the side and go to the discharge. Internal gear, okay, we have lobe, okay, lobe, screw, single screw, sliding vane. All this is positive displacement. We push the fluid directly to the front. Diaphragm pump. The name is diaphragm pump. You may want to memorize that in addition to know that it is PD. It can run dry periodically without any damage. Okay, it can handle. It's good to handle dirty liquid, high solid content. Cheap or inexpensive to repair, require frequent maintenance. Not for high discharge pressure, not for high flow rate, but it's good because it can do something with a little solid. Okay. And the way that works, you have seen it in the video already. The diaphragm pump. Rotary pump. Require less space or something, and you may have seen it sometime, but most of the time you have just the centrifugal pump. So it's This thing, read it for your information. We don't emphasize on this. You can skip for the exam. One good thing with this is it can pump toxic liquid, radioactive wastewater. For radioactive wastewater, which is not about us, or very toxic, not about us, they can use the rotary pump, okay, like this. Multiphase pump. It is a helicoaxial pump operated high PM. It's like a screw that you see in the video, right? That's a multiphase pump. It's a positive displacement, have two screws rotating and use the liquid to seal it. It can handle some gas. Okay. We may have it for subsea application. Okay, multiphase pump. That's multiphase pump. Reduce the subsea development cost by put the pump, multiphase pump on the subsea. Okay, so it can help for subsea production. Typically, it is twin screw pump, where liquid oil is partially recirculating, used as sealant. Okay, so the thing to memorize is multiphase pump is PD, and is typically screw pump. And we have twin screw, helicoaxial. Okay, and this is a comparison. We don't emphasize on that, but just so you know, we have PD pump that can handle some gas too, which is multiphase pump. It can be either twin screw or helicoaxial. When you Google it, the website is given, then you can see the picture. Okay. Okay, multiphase, helicoaxial pump. Okay, and twin screw. So it can be either this or that. And we have multiphase pump station. We put it on subsea, on the sea floor itself. Okay, so it is expensive, right? You put it on sea floor itself, and it's not for onshore production. Okay, typically mainly used for subsea. So if I ask you, what pump in the lecture that I say is typically used in the subsea application, you say multiphase pump. Just that, okay? Say nothing, get 0. Say something wrong, -1. Okay? Reciprocating pump, you need to ensure NPSH A and NPSH R. Okay, look at this one. Use 45-degree elbow instead of 90-degree one. Okay, next. Behind your road system. There. So, what's your name? Brandon. Okay, Brandon. Why do we use 45-degree elbow instead of 90-degree for the fitting? Does it help anything? Pressure drop, acceleration or pressure loss? Why should it lower the pressure drop? Less abrupt change in the flow direction. Okay, if we flow this and up, the fluid direction change quickly. But if we do 45 and another 45, it changes slower. That is less pressure drop. If we just use hose that curve like this, lower pressure drop, even lower pressure drop. Okay, so whenever there's a quick change in the direction, that's the place for the flow pressure drop. So next to you, what's your name? Mackenzie. This kind of pressure drop, we account it in what term? You have to know it for sure during the exam, okay? This kind of pressure drop, we account it in, okay, let's take a look at the equation. Okay, Mackenzie. So the pressure drop from 90-degree elbow or 45-degree elbow, we account it in what term? From this equation. W hat? Is that in W hat? Yes or no? Yes, wrong. Is that in F sub n? Yes or no? Okay. Is that in H2? Yes or no? No. F sub m? Wrong. It's E sub v. E sub v. This thing is very likely to be in exam. It is in your homework. the frictional, the pressure loss, accelerational pressure loss due to flow inside the fitting elbow or 90-degree elbow, it is account in E sub V. How much should be E sub V? This is the table, 45-degree elbow, 0.3 to 0.4. 90-degree elbow can be 1.3 to 1.4, 1.9, depending on what type, rounded or square. So if we use two 45-degree elbow, it's just 0.4 and 0.4, totally 0.8, right? If you use one 90-degree elbow, square shape, it's 1.9. So two 45-degree elbow has less frictional pressure, accelerational pressure loss. You good with this, Mackenzie? Okay. Is this in E sub V term? Okay, let's continue. Separate suction line, one for each pump, for pump in parallel. Okay, this part, let's focus a little bit more. I put in here, use separate suction line, one for each pump, when we put reciprocating pump together in parallel. So if I don't have one for each pump, suction line, it will share the same thing and it may be too much. Let's say look at my picture. So I have a pump. One pump should have one suction line. Another pump has its own suction line and they are separated. You don't connect them together and share the suction line. No. Okay, don't do that. Because it requires quite a bit of NPSHA. If you ever combine it together first, then you increase, it requires quite a lot of NPSHR, net positive suction head required. If we combine it together, we reduce the cross-section area of the flow. Okay, the cross-section area of the flow really matters. Okay, when we use PD pump, it takes a constant volume in. Okay, regardless of viscosity, right? So this means if we have two, it takes double. Okay, it forced to take double. Not like centrifugal pump. Centrifugal pump, it takes as much as it can push out, right? It can even flow against the dead end, but not PD. PD, it takes a certain volume in. Okay, so we need to make sure that the pipe connect to them is large enough. So we should not share. So we have to separate the suction line. Suction line should be the size so that velocity in the common feed line is about the same as one for individual feeding case. So when we share it, of course, at some point we have to share it. So we have two pumps. One line, and we share it to another line and connect to a tank. Okay. This line may have a certain cross-section area. This line may have another cross-section area. So line A, B, C. So line C, the cross-section area of line C has to be about A plus B. Okay? So we maintain kind of speed inside the suction line. Suction line should not be too long. No, pump should stay close to the, not too long. Okay? Pump is good at pumping, pushing out, not pulling in. Okay, if we increase the length, okay. Next to Mackenzie, what's your name? Mackenzie too. Okay, Mackenzie. If suction line is long, what happened to NPSHR? Wrong. Okay, next one. What's your name? Alina. If the suction line is long, get longer than usual, what happened to NPSHR? Wrong. It stays the same. NPSHR, net positive suction head required, is the value that you get from the pump curve. It's based on the pump. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with the length of the suction line. The thing that has something to do with the length of the suction line is NPSHA, the available. Okay? If you have a longer length, when the fluid comes, it has to withstand the friction in the line. There will be more friction. So NPSHR, the available head, go down. NPSHR stay the same. NPSHA go down. Okay. So if the suction line is very long, we cannot maintain this condition. Make sense? Okay. Maximum suction and discharge pipe velocity for reciprocating pump. So the recommended speed, suction velocity about 2 to 1, okay, 2 to 1. Discharge velocity 3 to 6 feet per second. Okay. Is this number help you anything? Does it help you anything? Does it give you any like typical value? Yes, it is. When you see any pipe, whatever inside the pipe, the velocity should be about 3 to 6 feet per second. Okay? Should not be like, if someone say, hey, the velocity inside the pipe is 20 feet per second, you can say it's too much from my experience. Okay? Where's your experience come from? This table. Okay? That's the table, that's your experience. Okay? The typical value of the velocity inside the pipe, you need to know this because you need to know the order of magnitude. You may not know exactly that it's 3 to 6, but you should know that if someone says 20 feet per second, that's too much. Okay? For the suction line, if someone says, hey, it is 15 feet per second, you need to know that that is too much. You may not know that it's 1 to 2, but you need to know what is the order of magnitude. If someone says, hey, the velocity after the pump is about 0.1 feet per second, you should know that that is too slow. Okay, next from Alina, what's your name? Jeremy? What's the problem with pumping too slow? Friction and what did you say? Solid will accumulate on the low spot. So we don't want to flow too slow. Okay. We may not have any solid, okay, but don't you think within 1,000 barrels, we may have 1 grain of some solid particle. It's just a little bit, okay? But if we flow too slow, that small grain of sand will accumulate and stay and block the pipe, okay, cause some problem. So we don't want to flow too slow. Okay. Reciprocating pump. Look at this one. Install pressure relief valve to both suction and discharge side. Okay, done. Done for this line. Make sure that you know that relief valve is needed for both suction and discharge side. Okay. It's not quite the same for the centrifugal pump, right? Centrifugal pump, if you close the suction side, you close the discharge side, you spin it, it just keeps spinning. It doesn't. If it's too long, yes, you damage the pump. But if it's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it's no problem. Okay. But this thing, if you close the suction, you close the discharge, and you try to turn the pump on for 3 seconds, it crashes. Okay. Don't do that. To prevent it, they cannot prevent anyone from doing that. Okay. So that's why the recommendation is put the pressure relief valve on both suction and discharge side, so that if I accidentally close the suction side, or something block it, okay, then the pipe will not implode. Okay. If I accidentally block the discharge side, it won't explode or anything. We have, okay, lab downstairs 101. We don't have we have a tank. Okay. Let me draw it. What's that? So lab downstairs in 101, we have a tank like that, okay, and we don't have any buffer inside or any vortex prevention or anything, and we have the pump, and that pump is vane pump, PD pump, and we use like some kind of inlet diverter in the tank, but it's not really inlet diverter. What student put over there is a hard hat. Okay, a hard hat over there. Hang it with this as inlet diverter. So when the fluid comes, it doesn't like directly flow to the outlet. Okay, and it has some time for gas to separate out. That is poor boy inlet diverter. Okay. Once in a while, like one time every 2 years or something, this cable is losing, it's kind of loose, and this hard hat going down, block the hole. Okay. What do you think happened? I don't think I have a suction relief valve or anything. I have discharge relief valve, but I don't have suction relief valve. So the pump like cry or create very sharp noise. Okay? It's about to break. So we press the emergency shutdown. So we need to install pressure relief valve to both suction and discharge side. Otherwise, someone have to stay there and take a look at it all the time. Okay? You don't want that in the actual field, right? In the lab, I may just ask, hey, when we operate it, just watch it all the time. But if you have pressure relief valve, it will be better. The oil will coming out everywhere, but it doesn't damage the pump. Okay, all right, it's still bad. If we have a relief valve, you have seen another valve, right? Another valve relieve everything out to atmosphere. The relief valve doesn't need to. And okay, if you recall from the field trip, you have the relief valve that go to the atmosphere, and we drill a hole over there for prevent accumulation of any rain. So in that relief valve, instead of go to atmosphere, we can return to the tank, okay, when I install it. So that will be better. So my point on this slide is install pressure relief valve on both suction and discharge side. Good? Okay, let's skip.